When Amara opened that acceptance letter, the scream could be heard down the block. Harvard. Full ride. From a girl who studied by flashlight during blackouts. Harvard was never the plan. For Amara Johnson, it was just a word people said on TV. Not something real. Not something for her. Not when you're 17, black, and raised in West Baltimore by a mother who worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. She grew up in a neighborhood where school security lines felt like airport checkpoints, where ceiling tiles sagged from water damage, where making it meant not getting pulled under. Her mom, Tanya, cleaned houses in the suburbs and waited tables on weekends. No college degree, no connections, just grit. I told her, baby, we might not have much, but I'll give you every ounce of what I got. And she took that and ran. At 8, Amara was reading at a high school level. By 12, she was tutoring other kids after school, quietly becoming the neighborhood's go-to genius girl. But even being smart didn't make Harvard feel like a real option. I thought maybe I'd go to a state school, maybe. I didn't know anyone who'd even left the state for college. It was her junior year when a counselor tossed out the word Harvard like a joke. Amara laughed. That wasn't her life. Then a teacher pulled her aside after class. You've got the grades. You've got the drive. And if you're willing to fight for it, you can get there. That lit the fuse. Harvard was still far. But now it was on the map. Still, knowing where Harvard was didn't make the road smooth. There were no AP classes at her school, so she found the exam study guides and taught herself. There was no SAT prep, so she stayed up watching YouTube tutorials and quizzing herself. No college advisor, so she became her own, reading Reddit threads, admissions blogs, any resource she could get her hands on. She wrote her Common App essay on the floor of her mom's bedroom, unpaid bills spread out around her, her little brother sleeping next to her. Her personal statement didn't trade on trauma, it framed it. I was born into a city that taught me to fight, but I chose to build. I chose books over bitterness. I chose belief over brokenness. I didn't want pity. I wanted them to see potential. I wanted them to see me. And then came that letter. Click. Load. Silence. Then the scream. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, Mama, I got in. Amara Johnson, first-generation college student from West Baltimore, Harvard University, full scholarship. Same girl who studied for the SAT by flashlight during a blackout. Same girl who took 3 buses to reach a library with free Wi-Fi. She was going to Harvard. It wasn't just an academic leap, it was a cultural one. In one of her first philosophy classes, a professor asked, Who has read Kant? Hands flew up. She nodded along, then Googled the name after class. It was the first time I felt like I had to shrink. Everyone else had private school polish. I had East Baltimore hustle. It took time, but she adjusted. She learned to speak up, even when her voice shook. She found her people, the Black Students Association, first-gen groups, professors who got it. She started mentoring freshmen who looked just as lost as she had during week 1. At first, I thought I had to blend in to belong. Then I realized I had to show up as me. That's the whole point. By sophomore year, she found her stride. She was thriving in class, leading peer tutoring, speaking on panels, but something still nagged at her. Then one night, her phone buzzed. A DM from a girl at her old high school. How do you even apply to Harvard? That was it, the moment. That message broke something open. I realized I made it out, but no one was showing these kids the way. That summer, she went home and started building a nonprofit to help students from underfunded schools navigate college admissions. She knew the gaps. She'd lived them. So she filled them. They held essay writing workshops in local rec centers, posted financial aid question and answers in church basements, set up SAT boot camps on Zoom, run by volunteer Harvard students. Flyers went up in barbershops. Social workers passed them out in waiting rooms. This isn't just about college, it's about kids seeing their worth, seeing options, seeing a life beyond survival. She didn't just build a nonprofit, she built a map and handed it out freely. Now every summer, Amara goes home. She walks the same streets, visits the same library where she once downloaded free SAT tests, stands in front of classrooms that look like the ones she came from, and tells the next kid, You can do this, for real. She didn't forget where she came from, she built from it. Amara Johnson didn't just get into Harvard, she brought her city with her, and now she's holding the door open. For every kid who thinks it's not for them. For every girl studying by flashlight. For every student who doesn't even know what's possible. Yet. Because sometimes the best plans are the ones you never expect. And the strongest roots grow in the hardest ground.